Be strong.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a special occasion here since we are going to talk Goat Piece Red, or One Piece Red as it's really called. And you might have noticed that neither Mike or Brandon is here. Well, they weren't able to catch this wonderful movie in the theater, so I joined with good friend on the show, AJ here, talking about One Piece. How's it going, my friend?
So excited to talk Goat Piece. So excited.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we can't tease One Piece now, but I digress. But yes, this is a movie that recently came out, and I do believe it's the first One Piece movie that came out in the West simultaneously. I mean, it came out in Japan first, yes, but if I'm not mistaken, this came out the same day in the US as it did in Sweden, or should I say specifically Europe, which is new actually. I know that Dragon Ball Superhero came here about 1 month, 1 to 2 months later. We got Jujutsu Kaisen 3 months later, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
So the
so
fact
this is
that
the first time it was like simultaneously with.
yeah,
Okay.
so I think that speaks for speak for the franchise as a whole. I and no going into the argument about the quality of that movie, but I went to Black Adam and One Piece Red, and there was a full house on One Piece, unlike Black Adam, and that should say something about One Piece. Yeah, and which is was quite funny actually. But yeah, and this is how many? I have totally lost track of that. Do you know, this is the how many movies has there been in One Piece so far?
Shit. You had Filmsy, you had Gold, Stampede. I think there was four.
Yeah,
Yeah, One Piece the
and
movie, and the Stampede, Gold, and Z, and then okay,
no,
five, then Red. Yeah.
yeah, and this is and, and you can argue that this is a more, how should I put it? I know that many have complained about this isn't a, how should I put it, sort of like your typical Shonen Jump movie, because it's a much more personal journey, or should I say personal concert in this case,
Hmm.
where Luffy and his crew comes is joining in on a concert and meeting his Luffy's childhood friend Yuta, who has become the biggest pop idol of all of the entire world. And I don't know about you, but is it just me that thought it was something odd from the start of the movie when because it was a bit too big, too fanatic. I know that they made a big deal about the pirates plundering and all that, yes, but it was a bit, how should I call, cults like, or have I been into not too little amount of concert to know what I'm talking about here?
No, I think you're right. It is more like a cult more than anything,
Yeah,
especially since there's a lot. For me, I feel like there's a lot of what is it called? Um, Worshiping.
yeah,
They really idolize Yuta
yeah,
as their savior and all of that. So in that case, yeah, I do. I would technically say this is more so of a cult than fan. I guess any musical, like any big
yeah,
pop star, there's a certain type of cultism to it,
Mm,
which makes sense with this. So yeah,
yeah.
I'll say that.
Speaking of musical, this is a music-heavy movie, so to speak. Considering they have a pop idol in this film, and I think it was 79 songs in this movie, and I know that some has complained that there was too many songs or and other stuff like that. How did you feel about that one when you watched it? I thought I should ask since it's for me personally, I like the songs and all, and I thought sort of fit in context in the movie, but since it's sort of have been an elephant in the room kind of deal, I figured that I should ask you about it.
Yeah, I actually really love all the songs. That to me personally, I think they could all be openings to a specific anime. That's how good I think those songs are. And those people,
Agreed.
huh?
I agree with you on
Oh yeah,
the they
yeah,
could.
they're really, really good. But those people that were complaining about how many songs there were, let's keep in mind that this movie was really focused on the marketing with the songs in mind. So if you wasn't expecting songs to be in here, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you
Yeah.
because they've been
I
marketing.
mean, if you go in blind, then sure, like
Yeah,
then
that.
you
Yeah,
then yeah, you can have a path there. But for those that have that went, saw trailers and all that, yes, and still, wait, is this a musical? I just feel that.
yeah.
Uh, what? But I was
But
just
this is
thinking,
also a shonen, so I can see that a lot of people only expect big fight sequences instead of something that's very story based. But at the same time, I feel like those type of people don't really know what One Piece really is because One Piece, even though it has a lot of great action sequences, one of the main things about One Piece is more so the journey, more so
yeah,
than
exactly,
more so than action,
yeah.
even though there
This
is
is
a good amount.
yeah, that is arguably you're right on the. I think you hit the nail right on the nail on the head because what many don't think about when they think of One Piece for me is that it is what makes it so big is that it's a personal journey. It's not just typical. Again, I know that I might sound like a Dragon Ball hater. I'm not. I have big. I might not be as big as a fan as let's say Ren or Leo is for that franchise, but I do enjoy it and I have a soft spot for it. But while this is this is that's probably Mike writing it. If I'm
It's this
if
peak
I
musical.
that's probably Mike typing it if I have to guess. Uh, but so they have more personal just conversation with each other. Just sort of like interaction and all that, yes. Whereas Dragon Ball is pretty much training, fights, philosophy, training, fights, philosophy, sort of like that. It's a very simplistic wrestling science fiction and manga when you really think about it. In science fiction wrestling.
I will put this on Dragon
Mhm.
Ball. I will say this. Lately, they have been relying a lot on story with their movies, at least. Look at
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Super Broly. They
Broly
really,
was
really,
fantastic.
yes, they really hyphenated on the whole Broly backstory and all of that, and the whole historical factor of the sands and the sand race. And they have been expanding on that issue a lot within the manga. So I feel like Dragon Ball has been evolving a little bit with their
Yeah,
storytelling. So I would just say that for
I
that.
can I can give you that one. Super story says is the better of Dragon Ball C and Dragon Ball. Uh, but and when it but like you said here, it's a more of a personal history here because, as I mentioned before, this is about uh, Luffy meeting his childhood friend that is also his mentor slash role model Shank's daughter, which is a big deal in for this movie considering Shanks is a pirate in the world, to put it lightly, and uh, and I do love that their dynamic in this movie actually. In some essence, I would have loved to see it a bit more. I can admit but I at the same time think it was executed extremely well. What about you on that regard?
Yeah, I do like the dynamic between Luffy, Uta, and Shanks. I really like this whole universe building where you see the entire world suffering because of the Navy, suffering because of pirates. And you can see Yuta seeing all of that for the first time. And she's very secluded in her own world. And I guess she sees everything just black and white. So everything just good and evil. No, there's no in between. So she takes things to the extreme. And you can see that throughout the entire film, where her whole philosophy within this entire movie is just everything is either just good
Yeah,
or just evil.
I
And she
mean,
just sees pirates as evil because of the things that she's seen within the world. And I really do like that.
yeah, I mean, when you have kind of being isolated and since how old were she and after Shanks left her on that island to being raised by the
I say
but
six.
yeah, and
Somewhere around there.
she's around 18 to 20 years old,
Hmm.
and you don't know that much, and being alone with no real friends outside of the. I mean, imagine if either you or me only have I would have internet as the social norm and all that. Yes, as in never meeting people
People.
outside
Yeah.
of one family member for years, we wouldn't have the same experience
Mm.
outside of the world like, well, Luffy has and his crew. And I would. Is there a moment in the this movie that sticks out to you the most that just really hit close to home, so to speak? Uh, For me, it's actually the last scene between Yuta and Luffy that it's a bit close to home, or I don't know if I should say close to home, but it hits hard in the feelings.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially if you watch the episodes on Crunchyroll, you see a lot of their history with each other, and
Aren't they?
you just had that extra emotional impact.
Aren't they like the later one with 1038 and which episodes are is Xiang? I brain freeze.
Yeah, I can't remember which the episodes they were. I think they
She's
were
in
like,
the she's in latter.
what was that?
She's in exactly in the beginning. Let's just say that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, if you do watch those episodes, you can see those emotional impacts. And you don't. I'm not saying you have to watch the episodes because you do get a lot of history within this movie specifically to get the context of that, which is really good. It for me personally, it just if you watch those episodes, it gives you a lot more emotional impact between
yeah,
Luffy and yeah, Uta.
yeah. What I do like about this movie is that, sure, it helps that if you're up on speed with the show or in the manga, that's kind of obvious. But I was going to the movie with a friend of mine for watching this for a second time before the before we did a podcast, and hasn't read One Piece for about 16 years, I believe, and he enjoyed the movie, and he don't have that much context, so to speak, and I do think, and that is a plus for me when it comes to anime movies that is within the genre. Sure, it's not Jujutsu Kaisen, which is basically a prequel,
Hmm.
but if they, hello, Leo. And I don't know, did you watch this movie with someone that don't really have the context within the franchise and all? Yes, I know that I'm a little all over the place, but I don't really know how to handle this movie without. Maybe we should go into spoiler territories little later on, but uh, but
I for me, I didn't watch this with anybody. I just watched this myself. Um, but I will say that it's true that you don't have to have any context within this, and there is a moment where if you are gonna watch the show, you will get spoiled with a character design. But
uh,
regardless of that, really don't need to watch the show to enjoy this movie as itself.
yeah, I would say, Leo, as to answer your question, it's just that know the general gist of the story. Say that it's takes place long long into the show, but just give it a TLDR on what this show is about, and I think that's actually good enough, honestly.
Okay,
Or
so
what do you think? Should you? I would say maybe a two or three at most, honestly.
I feel like anybody who likes anime already knows what One Piece is about. So I will say this. I will probably say a four. You really don't need to know that much of context. If you know who Luffy is, if you know who Zoro is, then you're fine. You don't really need anybody, especially since this is a filler movie. There's no need to watch the anime or anything if you want to. Much like any of the other movies, like Z, Gold, all that, you don't really need to watch the show. If you just want to watch the movies for the movies, it's perfectly okay. You
Yeah,
won't really be spoiled much.
Leo. Now you have a home assignment. Start watching and start reading it. That's the assignment I gave you for today, my friend. But anyway, but yeah, I actually agree with you there because it's sure. You appreciate it more if you're up to speed with it, but you
Hmm.
don't really have to be up to speed.
Yeah.
Um, I don't care. You have the homework now, and with One Piece, you can read Jujutsu Kaisen too. I read like 6 mangas
Leo, you
weekly,
can do both. You can do both. You got this.
and you know my schedule, Leo. So and but also going back to the songs, by the way, I just need to ask: do you think they how do you think they implemented them into the show as a whole? As a show. No, I talk so much about knowing the context with the show and all. How do you think they worked in with within the movie? Did it feel oh shit, is this
Within the
for
context of the story.
yeah, is there just shoehorning in a song with this scene just to dice, or is it actually fitting for the entire scene, entire yes?
It's, for
And
me,
you
it
also
makes for me it makes
also
sense.
what did you think about her music ability, considering her powers
Mhm.
is in the music?
Yeah, for me, I really like that element, using the songs to fit her abilities, her devil abilities. That helps make it. It helps makes the story flow a lot better, especially with the context of her character. I really do enjoy that. Also the lyrics of the songs, I really like how focused it is to the story specifically. So I would say this: if you're not a musical guy, you probably won't like this that much. I'm not really a musical guy, but I love One Piece so much that it balances out, and the action is good with along with this musical stuff. So I just, for me, I like it because the action and the music really blend well together.
Yeah,
Same with
and
the action, same
yeah,
with
I
the
mean,
music and the story. It all blends well together in tandem to each other.
I'm not a fan of musical either, but I really enjoyed this movie also. So, but I get you, Leo. But that doesn't disqualify the homework you have in starting reading One Piece. I'm sorry, my friend, but I do have to say that also if you really think about it, the lyrics as a whole, pretty much in the order that they played, told her entire arc.
Hmm.
If you really from the beginning 10 kind of deal, which I honestly think was a uh, genius move. Actually, sort of. I mean, again, it's a musical kind of deal, so it makes sense. But I think, and if you really look at it from, well, no, give me a second. Uh,
Okay, so for
yeah,
me,
I'm gonna go with spoilers, so that's what I'm gonna do. So
okay,
now talk a little more spoilery, but uh, and, so but it's just the fact that the whole juxtaposition of using songs and music that people often is going to or so, to escape reality, and here you have someone that truly makes people escaping reality
hmm
uh, in a literal sense. I do feel was a very creative way to create some of the more interesting in terms of animation, also fight scenes, actually, especially at the end when they fight the big demon that they mention, or foreshadowing, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I really do like that. Especially you just talked about the escape from reality and all of that. I really like that because even in our world, we want to escape reality because everything is just so
Um,
dark and grim and all of that. And we watch movies to escape reality. We listen to music to just get into our own heads and all that just for a little bit at a time. But some people do that so much it becomes very unhealthy, and I think that's where Utah's line crosses. She wants everybody to escape reality so she and everybody else can have this good dream, this good place to be, this utopia
yeah,
as it seems. But in reality, that's not how life works. You need to push forward, but for some reason, she really can't push forward because I'm guessing because she lost the people that she loved and she didn't know what to do and all that. So she went to the best thing that she had around her, and that was music. And it just helped her focus on something that was positive to her, but not really positive as a whole. If anything, was negative because
yeah.
it's too much.
I mean, it's sort of, it's yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's sort of like it's one thing to take a glass of wine just to relax with a friend, but when you take an entire bottle, it becomes rather deadly
Hmm.
for the liver. M- Maybe it's a weird analogy, I can admit, but I think you can. I think it can come across correctly.
Yeah.
And uh, so bad now because again I'm mentioning Dragon Ball superhero again, but I do wonder, especially at the end fight scene between Top Musica, the musical demon, if this is the reason why Dragon Ball Super was so 3D animated as it was in the cinema, because my god, insane animated fight scenes that specifically that I've seen in years. I mean, sure, it's not Mappa quality in terms of animation, but the creativity is Mappa quality, if you can catch what I mean.
Hmm. Yeah, I really like the action in this. I love the teamwork that everybody was presenting. I love. This is one of the big things I really love. I love that Cody does a lot of leadership within this episode within this movie. I really like the teamwork. Seeing Usopp shine a little bit, I really love it. Zoro shines all the time. I love it. Seeing Luffy's Gear 5 in animation felt really, really good, especially if you read the manga.
Yeah,
It looks so
heaven.
good. Seeing Shanks in action at the same time, I really love those moments. Those were the most exciting moments. The action was definitely the best part of this movie for me.
Yeah, and yet again, I would say I do wonder if he's so powerful with just one arm. Just imagine how it would have been if he still had his second arm.
Hmm.
The that then he would literally be a he's a beast still, but you catch my drift. And also, I don't know about you, but this is something I have noticed since I started One Piece. But why is that every big shot in the Marine looks like mafia bosses? I'm serious.
I think that's what they were going for, especially since they look very intimidating. I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't exactly the kind of look I would say, but oh, I trust you. Oh, thank you for protecting me. I uh, I see Shanks more, and I'm just, yeah, that's someone that can protect me more if you just go by the sign wise. If you catch my drift.
But if you think about it, the Marines is based on a lot of actual real world government, and the
I
real
know.
world government is really basically gangsters. They take your money away, taxes and all of that shit. So it makes a
Yeah,
lot of sense for them to, if,
fair point.
yeah.
Fair point. Uh, Although I wonder, I do, I do, yeah, and going back to the whole fight scene. I think my favorite song is probably when they play, when they have the music in the end fight scene. Either that or when she summons thought music. I don't know. Yes, I'm all over the place. Sorry, but uh, what about you when it comes to favorite song?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have a favorite song. I love them all. I really do. Uh,
They
I
stick in
would,
your head for a long time, though.
yeah.
That's for certain.
Like I said earlier, all these songs could potentially be an opening song for any anime. It's really that good. It can be an
Yeah,
ending, an opening, whatever. All of these songs are really, really, really well choreographed, well executed. Everything.
yeah.
It's
I
just-
don't know. I don't know if you catch this, but during the fight scene when they were in the sing song land, you can hear a brief "We Are" in a brief moment in the song remixed into it.
I did not catch that.
It was I catch that the first time I heard it, and by oh, you sneaky bastard! I mean, it's arguably the most famous opening for a good reason. I mean, they reused it. They
Which
re
song was that?
the first opening.
Was it?
We Are is the first opening. Yes,
No, no, no. I'm saying which song was it in Film Red? Was it remixed into?
it was the song where they fight thought music. I can't remember if it's the second one, but it was there.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to
If
that.
you rewatch it, if you rewatch it again sometime, listen to it and you can probably uh, you probably find it.
I will.
But okay, going into spoilers a bit more now, so to speak. Is there any specific moment in this movie? Like I said, you can go into spoiler territory now. That really stuck with you in this uh, movie as a whole. That just made you really, yes, it's a good movie, so to speak.
Like I said earlier, the the chemistry between Luffy and Uta, I really, really enjoyed. Especially since I actually watched those episodes, the emotional impact hit me a lot harder than those that didn't watch it. So for me, those two definitely sticked out. I really liked the rivalry. I love how they always played games with each other, and you can see a little bit of that within this movie. And it's just a really fun time for them to be together. But at the same
Yeah,
time, it does hurt when Luffy rejects her offer because he has his dream and she has hers, even though she's selfish enough to try to rip his dream away for her own, what's the word, for her own interest basically. So to get that molded in with all the goodness and at the same time, you can feel their emotional impact, and I really, really love that.
yeah, I'm kind of with you, which is why the whole well, the um, last impact, let's say last scene with them when they sort of is it sort of like a limbo last scene or something. I don't really know that. You can see her giving him the straw hat again
Hmm.
and telling him be an even bigger man that can suit this. Sorry, make it be a man that suit this hat even more. And considering how much that hat means for them both,
Yeah.
that I think sort of like her realized that she did something wrong, and I think Luffy in there that sort of comes into terms that he has lost a good friend of, truly lost a good, great friend of his, even though
Hmm.
he wanted to try and do the talk no jutsu in at the beginning of the fight to
Yeah.
catch him. So, and which is also why the whole when you see him waking up and Shanks' ship sailing away with what is clearly a yeah coffin there. It is I think it hits a bit,
Hmm.
so to speak, because you know the like I said synergy and history between that they have
Yeah.
and sort of and uh, and uh, and it's sort of because of her motive and the whole synergy that I argue that she's one of the best anime villains that we have had for quite some time actually,
Hmm.
because and yet she's extremely simple. She's simple but extremely well written, in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, she's definitely very sympathetic as a villain, or I shouldn't even say villain, as an antagonist of the
Yeah,
movie.
Dragon.
Um, I for me, when I look for a great, she is great. She's definitely great. But for me, for a shonen antagonist, I I just love just the badass villains for shonen
Yeah,
personally. But yeah, I do agree with you. Yuta is a great villain within this movie, and would want to see her again in future projects? Probably not, because her story was very, very impactful for this one specifically, and
yeah,
her story between Luffy intertwined with the story with Shanks, and you can see that there wasn't really father and daughter. He just adopted her from I can't remember the place where they pillaged and all that, but he basically adopted her, and that relationship grew over time, and I really love that. And you can see Shanks will do anything for her, and I really love that. Especially go to war with the Marines, which is
I mean,
that scene
uh,
specifically was just so beautiful.
yeah, I mean, they were open to literally slaughter the marine just to protect her.
Hmm.
So, and he would probably been able to if they were going into a fight, knowing how strong strong Shanks is as of
Hmm.
right now. What do
Yeah,
you think?
it's
Would they have won?
the hints they're giving out with Shanks and how strong he is. It's just so good. I can't wait. I can't wait to see him fully go out.
Yeah, I agree. And it's sort of like I wish we could see seen more of him in present day, but at the same time, seeing him introduction as he was actually kind of perfect, I would argue.
So good.
Yeah. But is there anything else that you would like to talk about when it comes to this movie?
I would just say this for those that are wanting but didn't have the chance to watch this, make sure you find some time to watch it. It really is a good watch, especially if you love One Piece. If you're first getting into One Piece, it's still a good watch to watch anyway. So just make sure to watch it if you are interested.
Yeah. And I'm pretty much on point. Just have if if you're able to get a good speaker or a sound bar or something, because having a good sound for the songs will help a lot, I dare argue.
Hmm.
Also, sidetrack, the singer for the song is 20 years old, and god damn, doesn't sound like that. She sounds like a 30-year-old that's been in the business for at least a
She
decade.
sounds so it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. And she debuted as a 17-year-old, so I'm just, oh dear, she's a prodigy. But I digress. Yeah, but I don't really have much to say either. It's a fantastic movie, and arguably one of the best of the year when it comes to anime movies in my book.
I'll say yeah, I'll give it that for right now. I'll give it that for right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is there even any other anime movies that will come out or about to come out this year?
I'm actually about to look it up now. Anime films 2022. Let's see. Actually, there might not be. We just talking
Anyway,
specifically anime or animation.
yeah, I was thinking anime considering this channel.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Bubble was pretty good too. I like Bubble.
I'm sorry that I laugh, but I like Bubble too. But Mike and Brandon did not like Bubble.
What?
Yeah, they did not.
Mm,
You can listen to our review about that, but they did not like it.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, maybe we should have you on board for a ranking of best anime movies for this year, if you're interested.
There isn't really any anime movies that's out though this year.
Jujutsu Kaisen, Dragon Ball, Bubble. This one
Jujutsu Kaisen came out 2021.
came out 2021 in US. It came out in here in Sweden in March. Oh, well, hmm.
Might be wrong. Hold on, I might be wrong. Yeah, 2021. I get
When did it?
worldwide release. I guess you can say 2022 because it came out on Crunchyroll. Are
I
we?
mean, we had a theatrical release in March for that movie.
Oh, okay, okay.
I thought it was like January that you guys got it, but oh well, oh well. But I digress. It's still a solid movie,
Yeah,
and
I really love it.
Yuta is a pimp.
You said what?
Yuta certainly knows his way with the ladies, but but that's a different story. But yeah, you don't have anything else to mention about this movie.
Nope, that was all.
Yeah, and I'm the same here. So well, AG, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at AJ underscore geeks vibes. Basically, they're 24/7. So if you want to talk, we can talk.
And well, you can find me over at work at Webm Entertainment, and you can find me over at Emblemaniac on Twitter, and you can find the Amateur Taco Pod at the Amateur Taco Pod, and you can find us everywhere that you can find our Podbean podcast, except for Podbeans for some for some reason if you're not fan of YouTube. But we are going next week. We are going to do some more My Hero and Spy X Family, and that should always be fun because then we can have some more your Forger Step on Me comments. But I digress. Have it awesome, everyone.